Hello students, welcome to Weekly Current Affairs presented by Medha Institute of Education. This is for the second week of August. The first week of August current affairs has already been uploaded in YouTube. You can go and watch it there. So the topics I'm covering this week is G4 countries, Olympics, SC/ST subcategorization and sexual assault laws in India. Let's start with the first topic. G4 countries. It was in the news because India, on behalf of G4 nations, asserted that UNSC needs reforms to tackle global challenges. So, who are the G4 countries members? So, G4, also known as Group of Four, denotes four members, namely Brazil, whose capital is Brasilia, Germany, whose capital is Berlin, India, whose capital is New Delhi, and Japan, whose capital is Tokyo. So these are the four members of G4 countries. The G4 was formally established in 2004 and its primary goal is reforms in United Nations Security Council. So now let us understand why reforms in UNSC is required. At some point of life, everyone has studied about the United Nations, which is a very important organization and it consists of United Nations Security Council. So UNSC have 5 permanent members and 10 temporary members. The permanent members are also known as P5 nations and they consist of China, France, Russia, United Kingdom and the United States. And the temporary members are elected on a temporary basis for 2 years. So why there is a need for UNSC reforms is, just look at the statistics. United Nations has 193 members and the latest addition was of South Sudan in the year 2011. Just remember this fact that South Sudan was the latest member who was added in the United Nations and the year was 2011. And United Nations has 193 members and there's only 5 permanent members representing the whole United Nations. This is not a fair division. And on top of that, the P5 nation hold the seat indefinitely without the need for re-election. This grants them a permanent and influential role in shaping international security policies and decisions. So how can a group of 5 nations manage the affairs of 193 countries? It is not a fair division at all. So this is one of the issue, that is the permanent seats for the United Nations Security Council. The second is the veto power. Each P5 members has the ability to use the veto against any decision in the Security Council. This means that even if one of the P5 members opposes a decision, it cannot be adopted, regardless of the numbers of votes in favor of it. This allows the P5 to block any action they disagree with. For example, in recently 2021, there was a proposal of India and USA to sanction Pakistan-based terrorist organization linked to 2008 Mumbai attack as a terrorist organization, but China vetoed against it. So the decision was not passed. So this is very important, how the countries use their veto power. And why is veto power invested only in the 5 permanent members? So this is also a reform needed for the United Nations Security Council. And another is the influential decision. Using veto power, they can influence decision-making procedure and they have failed to solve critical ongoing issues like the recent Russia-Ukraine war, Israel-Hamas war. They are not yet been able to solve this kind of issues. And let us now look at the demands of the G4 nations. The demands of the G4 nations are, the first and the primary demand are inclusion of G4 as permanent members, as they feel that if they are included in the group, it will give a more balanced approach to United Nations Security Council. The second is expansion of permanent seats and increase in non-permanent seats. So these are also the demands of the G4 nations because they feel that expansion in both the permanent and the non-permanent seats can give a wider representation in the United Nations. Another is reform of veto power. So as we have seen in the above examples, how veto power is used to block many important decisions. So the reform of veto power is also one of the demands of the G4 nations. The next is enhanced transparency and accountability for better functioning of the United Nations. So this was all for the United Nations Security Council and the group of four nations. So just remember the group of four nations are India, Brazil, Germany, and Japan, and they advocate for permanent membership in the United Nations. Olympics. Recently, the Summer Olympics was concluded successfully between July 26 to August 11, 2024. The host city was Paris, France, and there were approx 10,500 participants participating from over 200 countries. The most important information to take from this Olympics is four new sports were introduced here, namely breaking, skateboarding, sport climbing, and surfing. United States won the most number of medals, followed by China. On the other hand, India's position in the award medal tally was 71st, and in the Japan Olympics, also known as Tokyo Olympics, India's position was 48th. So we have dropped a position from 48 to 71st. Now let us understand the history of Olympics. Olympics originated in Olympia, Greece around 776 BCE. They were held in honor of Zeus, the king of Greek god, and were a part of larger festival that included religious ceremonies, sacrifices, and feasts. In 393, Emperor Theodosius banned Olympics. So in 393 it was banned. And if you want to know about the ancient Greek and see like how it functioned during the time and the history, it has been portrayed very well in the movie 300. And you must watch it. Like it's a beautiful presentations of the Olympics or the ancient Greek in total. So Emperor Theodosius, he banned the Olympics and it was reintroduced by Perry de Coubertin, and he is also known as father of modern Olympics. The first modern Olympics was held in Athens in 1896 and the first Winter Olympics was held in 1924. So remember, there are two types of Olympics. One is summer and one is winter. Both the summer and the Winter Olympics happen in a duration of 4 years. So let us go to the history of Indian Olympics. In 1900 Paris Olympics, India first participated and Norman Pritchard competed. He won 2 silver medals in athletics, making him first Olympic medalist. So, the first Olympic medalist was Norman Pritchard. Although there is a controversy surrounding the fact that his parents were Britishers at that time and he was born in Kolkata, but he held the Indian passport and even in the Olympics committee, he has been mentioned as an Indian. Apart from that, 1900 Paris Olympics is also known for one important reason. That is, throughout the history, only the men participated in the Olympics. Since it began from the 393 CE, only men were allowed to participate in it. But it was for the first time in 1900 Paris Olympics that women were also allowed to participate in the Olympics. So this was a landmark. This 1900 Paris Olympics was a landmark in women's empowerment because they were also allowed to participate in Olympics. So remember these two important points. One is that India first participated in 1900 Olympics and even women were first participating in 1900 Paris Olympics. And let us talk about the golden era hockey. India consecutively won 3 Olympics, that also gold medal in Olympics in hockey. And it was under the leadership of Major Dhyan Chand. Major Dhyan Chand was also known as the Wizard of Hockey. He is one of the most celebrated figures in the history of field hockey. Under him, we won the 1928 Amsterdam Olympics, 1932 Olympics, 1936 Olympics, and this was also known as the golden era of hockey. In 1948 also, India won its fourth gold medal in Olympics under the leadership of K.D. Singh. In 1952, we won the fifth gold, and in 1960, we won a bronze medal, and in 1964, again, we won our sixth gold medal. And in 2008, this information becomes very important. Avinav Bindra, he was the first Indian to win a gold medal in shooting rifle. First Indian. Remember this information. The first Indian to win a gold medal in shooting was Avinav Bindra. And in 2020, Neeraj Chopra performed very well and he won a gold medal in javelin throw. So we have two individuals that won gold medal in the history of Olympics. One is Abhinav Bindra and the second is Neeraj Chopra. So we have won 10 gold medals, 13 silver medals and 18 bronze medals in Olympics so far. And 8 gold medals have been won by hockey team and the 2 gold medals have been won individually by Neeraj Chopra in the year 2020 and Avinav Bindra in the year 2008. Now let us look at the medal collected by Indians during the Paris Olympics. We have 1 silver and 5 bronze medals collected during the Paris Olympics of 2024. Silver was won by Neeraj Chopra for javelin throw, bronze by Manu Bhakar for shooting, bronze again by Manu Bhakar and Sarabjot Singh for shooting mixed, bronze for Aman Sherawat in wrestling, bronze for Sapnil Kushale for shooting, and bronze was won by Indian men's hockey team. So there was also a prominent Indian wrestler, also known as Vinesh Fogart, who was disqualified from the women's 50 kg final at Paris 2024 Olympics just by being 100 grams over the weight limit. So it was very disheartening to see her working so hard and not being able to make up to the finals. So this was all for Paris Olympics and the history of Olympics. Hope you got to understand how the Olympics was formed and the history of Indian Olympics winners. Reserved classes. Why was this in news is because Supreme Court held that the states can now subclassify the list of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. So, Supreme Court has overruled its decision of 2004, also known as E.V. Chinnaiya versus State of Andhra Pradesh case, in which the Supreme Court stated that all the SC and ST populations were of homogeneous group and there was no further need of categorizing them. But right now, Supreme Court has held that the states can subclassify. It was to ensure that the benefits of reservation reach the most marginalized section within these communities. So now let us understand who are the reserved classes. Reserved classes in India refer to specific socio-economically disadvantaged group who are granted certain privileges and benefits under the Indian Constitution to ensure their social and economic upliftment. The primary reserved classes in India are scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and the other backward classes. And in 2019, an amendment was made, also known as 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act, in which the economically weaker section of the general caste. So who are the general castes? All those class who does not belong to SC, ST and OBC population. So in 2019, reservation was extended to the economically weaker section of the general caste and it provided 10% of reservation in the educational institution and government jobs. So now we have understood who are reserved classes and now let us move to the constitutional provisions provided in the constitution for SCs and STs. The first constitutional provision is Article 15. Article 15 prohibits discrimination on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. And Article 15, Clause 4 provides the states to make special provision for the advancement of SC and STs. Article 17 abolishes untouchability. Article 46 directs the state to promote the educational and economic interest of SC/STs and to protect them from social injustice and exploitation. Article 330 provides for the reservation of seats for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe in the Lok Sabha, and Article 332 provides for the reservation of seats for SC and STs in the state legislative assemblies. Article 338 establishes the National Commission for Scheduled Caste to investigate and monitor safeguard provided for scheduled caste and recommend measures for the effective implementation. Article 330A establishes the National Commission for Scheduled Tribes to perform similar functions for the scheduled tribes. Article 341 provides for the specification of scheduled caste in various states and union territories, with the President having the authority to specify them. Article 342 provides for the specification of STs in various states and union territories, with the President having the authority to specify them. So remember, the President is given the authority to specify the SCs and STs of various caste and union territories. Sorry, various states and union territories. And Article 335 ensures that the claims of SCs and STs are considered in the context of maintaining efficiency in the administration. So, this were the constitutional provision provided for the SC and ST communities. And the most important information to remember here is the President has the authority to specify the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribe of various states and union territories with recommendation from the union government. So the President has the authority to specify scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. So this fact becomes important. Now let us move to the process for inclusion and exclusion of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. The first is the recommendation. Recommendation for including or excluding communities from SC or ST list can initially come from the state government. Then we have constitutional bodies like National Commission for Scheduled Caste and National Commission for Scheduled Tribe. This commission play a crucial role in examining petitions and providing recommendations regarding the inclusion or exclusion of communities from scheduled caste and scheduled tribe list. And the second is the review and consultation. The review process involves examining socio-economic data, historical context, and the current status of the communities. This includes analyzing factors like income level, land ownership, and other socio-economical indicators. Then we have presidential notification. The President of India has the authority to notify the changes to the list of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. This is done based on the recommendation from the central government, as we have discussed above, from the central government. And we have the legislative process. If changes to the SC and ST list requires amendments to existing law or the constitution, legislative procedures are drafted, which is reviewed and approved by the Union Cabinet before being presented to the Parliament. So in this topic, we have discussed about the reserved classes, constitutional provision related to SC and STs, and the process of inclusion and exclusion of communities from the SC and ST list. So this is for the discussion of the reserved classes. The tragic rape and murder of a young female doctor at RJ Kar Medical College in Kolkata sent outrage throughout the country. In the internet, all we see is justice for the doctor. So every people throughout the country, they have gathered together demanding the justice for the young soul who lost her life. So let us look at the laws related to sexual assault in India. Sexual assault is covered in Indian Penal Code, and we have some section dealing with rape and the penalties for rape. The first is section 375. It defines rape and it includes consent, age of consent, and coercion. Section 376 deals with punishment for rape. Section 354 addresses assault, a criminal force to a woman with intent to outrage her modesty. Section 354A criminalizes sexual harassment. Section 354B addresses assault with intent to disrobe a woman. Section 376D pertains to gang rape, prescribed enhanced penalties, and Section 376E addresses repeat offenders and provides for enhanced penalties. Throughout time, there were some changes to the sexual assault laws in India. The first one was Criminal Law Amendment Act of 2013. This was also known as Nirbhaya Act. So this was brought into practice after the infamous Nirbhaya case, in which a brutal gang rape and a murder of young women in Delhi shook the nation. So she was named Nirbhaya, and Nirbhaya stands for fearless. So this was not her real name. She was given the name Nirbhaya, that is fearless. So according to this act, the minimum sentence of rape was altered from 7 years to 10 years. Furthermore, in cases which resulted in death of the victim or the victim being left in a vegetative state, the minimum sentence has been duly increased to 20 years. So, this Criminal Law Amendment Act increased the sentences of the people who are accused of raping. So, what do you understand by vegetative state is? Vegetative state is a state in which a person's brain is not functioning well for them to be aware of anything that is happening around them. And the next one was the POSCO Act of 2012. The act was enacted to protect the child from sexual assault, sexual harassment, and pornography. The POSCO Act reached the age of consent to 18 years, which was 16 till 2012, and criminalizes all sexual activities for those under 18, even if consent was factually present between the two minors. So in POSCO Act, even if there was a consent between two minors, it is denoted as rape if the person has not attained 18 years of age. Another act to promote the dignity of women in working place is the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act of 2013. Sexual harassment at workplace is a serious issue that affects many people. Type of sexual harassment at workplace can be physical, which includes unwanted touch or other physical actions of sexual nature, verbal, offensive comments, jokes or questions about sex, non-verbal, unwelcome looks, gestures, or even showing inappropriate pictures, quid pro quo, which includes offering job benefits in exchange for sexual favors, or threatening job loss if favors are not given, hostile working environment. It is the overall working environment that feels threatening or uncomfortable because of ongoing sexual behavior or comments. Cases such as the Nirbhaya rape case of 2012, the Hyderabad rape case of 2019, and the Hathras rape case of 2020 brought huge public protest. But what about other cases that goes unnoticed? There were more than 31,000 rape cases reported according to NCRB in the year 2022. So I'm talking about the data from NCRB. So there were around 31,000 reported rape cases in 2022 alone. This was the reported case. There are so many cases which goes unreported. And India also suffers from high rape cases and low conviction rate problem. Conviction rate for rape ranged from 27 to 28% according to the NCRB data. In Britain, by comparison, the conviction rate for cases linked to rape was 60%. So look at the differences. And one more case highlighted by the NCRB was that most of the rapists were known to the victims. Around 80% of the rapists were known to the victims. At last, I would like to discuss how can we prevent rape? And the answer is simple. Sorry, we cannot do that. Many say uneducated people rape. But what about the educated rapist? So there is no gender prejudice against anyone. There will always be some werewolves looking for prey. And where are girls exactly safe nowadays? Rapes are happening in schools, in tuitions, in home, in streets. Throughout the history, you can see that women have faced discrimination. Centuries ago, we were discriminated against education. We didn't get proper education, or we were not even allowed to get education. Discriminated against the choices we made. And now, when we are getting the opportunities we deserve, we are being discriminated by physical violence. So, the solution could be introduction of compulsory free self-defense classes for all girls and carrying of paper spray and whistle for emergency cases. After discussing the various laws related to sexual exploitation, now let us know the rights of the rape victim. The first right is right to zero FIR. The term zero FIR means that the person can file an FIR in any police station, irrespective of the place in which the rape took place. The second is free medical treatment in any private or the government hospital. And the third is no two-finger test. And the fourth is a new provision has been introduced as per Section 357 of CRPC, in which the victim has the right to compensation. So these are the rights of the rape victim. We have completed many important topics today. Hope you enjoyed the session. And if you want to follow the daily current affairs, we upload top 10 current affairs daily. So do go and watch the Medha Institute shorts. Thank you.